Alright, so the last faction that we're going to be going over today is the Roxolani. So the Roxolani live in Sarmatia, which is most likely Ukraine. Their shot cav is similar to the other two factions, with the exception of their high tier shot cav, which has the best charge bonus in the game without using abilities. Their melee cavalry, however, is their key to winning battles. You have a light melee cav and a heavy melee cav, both of which are good at disrupting main lines, while getting as many units affected by Draco as possible before following up with shot cav. Sarmatian horsemen are more useful than the raiders, but both are a good idea. Try to weaken your enemy with horse archers, then follow up with these units so that it's easy for the shot cav to hit hard and drive the nail into the coffin. You just have to be careful with your melee cav because they don't last as long as the other factions when it comes to units that have Draco. Losing these units early on makes the game harder on you. And with the fact that you have to micro a big problem already, playing as this faction just becomes a nightmare. Keep your melee cav in reserve until the time is right. To summarize, the key to this faction is to tie down a lot of units using Draco and then follow up with shot cav. Yes, Sarmatian horsemen can do a lot of initial damage, but shot cavalry are much better for this role. I'd suggest bringing a maximum of 4 of either the raiders or the horsemen. In my opinion, the Roxolani are really good against the successors, mainly because the successors do have good shot cav themselves, and on the charge I think Colonic Cataphracts will actually lose. My typical Roxolani army usually looks like either noble horse archers. Sometimes I'll bring Sarmatian royal lancers. However, because these guys have skirmish and these guys don't, when you're not microing your general, you could be microing the more vulnerable shot cav units. Usually I bring like only 2, and then I'll bring 3 step noble lancers and then 2 step armored lancers, and then 3 of those guys, and then 2 of those girls. This is what my typical army would look like. It's not a bad idea to bring, it's never a bad idea to bring the Amazonian riders, because if you're going up against a faction that can bring elephants, these girls can actually make them run amok. And no other horse archer can do that. The only ones that can do that are the ones that have 150 range. So just keep that in mind. Sarmatia or the Roxolani are more of a, melee cav oriented faction. Their gameplay somewhat revolves around the Sarmatian horsemen more than it does for the Sarmatian riders. But yeah, you lose these guys very early on and you're going to struggle against a lot of factions. You will definitely struggle against the nomads themselves, because without them, if you're going up against a nomadic faction that has good shot cav, you won't be able to use Draco, and they'll still have their bonus versus cavalry. So that's pretty much it for the Roxolani. Thanks guys so much for watching. This is the last faction, and yeah, their nomads are very hard to use, but with the right gameplay and the right mindset, you can do it. So thanks guys so much for watching the reviews, and I'll hopefully see you guys on my next stream.